Hello everybody and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. So today we're going to go over the power press. We're going to go back over the power press. Now I'm going to do things in slightly different than normal in the further videos on. Instead of doing the okay to good and then great to fantastic rolls, I'm actually going to show the power press under different table minimums and table maximums because the general goal of the power press is a little bit different. So we've had quite a few questions lately about the power press and the difference between mid press and power press. And one thing I'll say, mid press is not take half your winnings and reinvest it. It seems that way, but it's more just taking standard jumps while still racking up some money, still collecting some. It's kind of like a collect some, press some kind of thing. At its early levels, it does kind of look like you're just pressing half. But once you start getting a little bit further on, it's more that you're just pressing to standard types of bets. The power press is different in that the power press is basically a mentality of leaving with all the chips or none of the chips. More often than not, it's going to be none of the chips. There's no way to avoid that. When you're really not collecting most of the time, you're going to lose. You're going to lose most of the time. But when you do win, it is absolutely huge. The biggest wins that I have ever seen booked by a player are always power press players. In fact, the only wins that I've ever seen that are, say, 15, 20 times the initial investment towards the shooter are power press wins. It's the only method I've ever seen that, if someone has $100 invested initially into the shooter, that they end up coloring up to $2, $3, $4, up to $60, $70, $80,000. And same things with the higher level. Someone that is on a higher level and is $1,000 invested into the player at the very beginning of the roll, ends up coloring up a few $100,000. It's only with the power press. It's the only one that I have personally seen. I do have some friends that have seen other methods. Typically, they involve just immediately putting the point for table max. So the power press is really the only one that's going to make the ridiculous amounts of money. However, it loses more often than it wins. Now, the reason that I'm not going to, I'm going to get rid of the puck for this. The reason that I am not going to do the typical statistical likelihood of rolls is because the power press, more so than any other strategy, is based around breaking those statistics in a way. It's looking for one particular number to roll more times than is statistically likely. Typically just 6 or 7 times. Not too long ago, I saw a 6 roll like 14 or 15 times. The other day, I saw a 5 roll 11 times, twice in one night. And that's what the power presser is looking for. They're looking for one number that just rolls a crap ton of times. So typically, if you went with statistical likelihood, it would take an hour and a half to 2 hour roll for one number to roll 8 to 10 times. But in reality, on any given night, you're going to have at least one number that will roll 10 or more times on one person's shift, one person's roll, at least once throughout the shift. And that's what the power presser is looking for. So I'm going to start off with today's video, kind of introducing the power press and showing it on, say, a $10 minimum bet table going up towards, $2,000, $2,000 max bet. So $10 minimum bet, $2,000 max bet. For our patrons, we will live roll this when we are finished, and for anybody that's interested in that, go ahead and take a look at the description of the video down below. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get into this. So unlike most of the strategies, I'm actually going to start the player out with a budget. Typically we don't, because we just talk about what we have put into play. But in this case, because with the power press you're throwing more money in, we're going to start off with an actual budget to show. So we're going to start off with $100 because, again, $10 minimum bet table, right? So the player would go 64 across. I just locked that up. I don't know why. 64 across. So they would have $36 left. So they would do 64 across including. Now, what, again, the power press player is trying to do is they just want one number that rolls more than is statistically likely. So I'm going to kind of skip around just so that the chips don't sort of visually blend in together. I'm going to show what the power press player is trying to do on the 4, then I'm going to show it on the 9, then I'm going to show it on the 6. That way, because the 4 and the 10 would be the same, 5 and 9 would be the same, 6 and 8 would be the same. That way, as I stack the money up in front, you kind of get an idea of what the progression is and what the player is trying to do. And what we're going to look at 10 hits on the same number. We're going to look at how many hits it takes to get to table max, and then just 10 hits of the same number, how much you would make in profit. So let's look at the 4. So with the 4, we're starting out at $10. Now, some places that's a buy, some places it is not a buy. So we're going to, let me get some more change for this player. We're going to treat it as if it's not a buy. So that's going to pay $18. So they're going to throw in $2 so that they can get paid $20, and they're going to stack it all up, which makes it $30. Now this is typically not one of the better places to be because it's the very beginning stage of where the VIG has gone up. So you're paying a $2 VIG on a $30 bet. You'd also pay a $2 VIG on a $50 bet. So you're kind of, in a way, paying more VIG for less money. But that's kind of a standard progression right here for the PowerPress player. So they have had one hit right now. Okay, one hit. I'm just going to mark that right there. They've had one hit. And they've had to throw in an extra $2 already. So the next hit, they're going to throw in $2 again. And this is going to pay $60. And they are going to stack it all up. Now, some players would throw in an extra $10 and go all the way up to $100, but there's really no need for that. You can just throw in the VIG and be happy with that. Now, we're going to assume a $5 VIG here. Some places may charge $4. So that 90 is going to pay $180 with the $5 VIG, okay? So they get $180. And now you look at what you have to work with. You've got $270. Now this is a point where they actually are going to collect a little bit, most players, just because you want to keep your bets somewhat simplified. So they're going to go up to $250. That's a fairly simplified number, fairly easy. So this is going to have a $12 VIG, $5 per 100, and then the other 50 is a $2 VIG. So they're going to throw in their $12 for their VIG, and now they get paid $500. PowerPress is going to stack it all up. So now they're at $750, which would be a $37 VIG. Oh, they don't have enough there. We'll take it out of the bet. Right? So it's going to pay $1,500 minus 37. So that's $1,463. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grab some yellow chips. So it's going to pay $1,463. They're going to go up to, most PowerPress players at this point are going to go up to $1,500. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Table Max. Because they have enough. As soon as you have enough, you go to Table Max. It's when you don't have enough that you kind of go to some minor levels, some other difficult, there are different stages. So on the 5th hit, they're at Table Max. Didn't throw anything in, just collected. It's another reason not to throw the VIG in. You can already hit Table Max, so there is no need. So we say a $2,000 Table Max. And now they're at $2,000 after 5 hits on the 4. Yes, this is fairly rare, but 8 to 10 hits on any number is fairly rare. It happens every single night. I see 5 hits on a 4 or a 10 every single night. At least one shooter is going to have that happen. Typically multiple shooters. There's not that many PowerPress players out there. And what's funny to me is almost every single time this happens, we have a PowerPress player or two in the building. They just happen to be on a different table. Every so often, though, yeah, they're on the right table. I know of a couple PowerPressers that have bought in with $100 and colored up $60,000, $70,000. Just in the last couple of years, I can tell you, last few years, I can think of a few. So now, that's 5 hits. And I said I was going to show up to 10 hits. Well, every hit after that, the player is going to be winning $4,000. You know, minus the VIG, minus $100 VIG. So they're going to be winning $3,900 every single hit. Okay, so $4,000 times 5 is $20,000. Right, so they're going to win $20,000. You know, again, minus their VIG, so minus 500. So if we really wanted to, we could go ahead and change this to 4,500. And that right there is why people play the PowerPress, the ones that do. because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to have that one number that ends up paying them thousands of dollars every single hit. Typically, when I used to play the power press, I don't anymore now that I have a wife and kids and a lot more bills, but I used to play the power press all the time. And generally, if I were to hit table max on a number, I would collect on the next hit, and then after that, I would probably use it to table max another number. Right? Now, typically, the other numbers will also be up there a little bit because it's unlikely that they're just going to just roll all the same number back to back to back to back. So, typically, the other ones are up there. You know, if I have one at table max, I probably have at least one other number that's at 500 or 1,000, somewhere in that range. So, the second hit of my table max, I will typically use it to put the other number at the next most common one to have been hit at table max and take the remainder that was already on there, or I might pick a 6 and 8. So 5 hits to go from $10 to $2,000 on a 4 or a 10. So let's look at the 6 or 8, and then we'll do the 9. So 6 or 8. So the first hit, they're going to throw in $4. And they're going to go to 30. The second hit, okay, so that's the first hit, and they threw in $4. So the second hit, they're going to throw in $1. They're going to stack it all up to 66. So now they've thrown in $1, thrown in another $1. So they've thrown in a total of $5 at this point. Now the next hit is where they generally throw in the most. They throw in $7. The next hit, they throw in $7, and that brings their bet up to $150. Okay, because they're at 66, which pays 77. That gives you $143 to work with. So they go up to 150. So the next hit is where they'll collect a green, and they'll go up to 300. Now after that, it generally just becomes straight presses. And that's the point where they're going to be collecting just a little bit. Now, from $10 or $12 in this case, up to $2,400, 2, 4, 6, 7 hits. 7 hits gets you there. Going up to 30, 66, 150, 300, 600, 1,200, 2,400. 6 hits from $12 up to $2,400 if we have a $2,400 table max. That means the remaining 4 hits, you're going to make $2,800 a piece. $2,800 a piece. That is what, $11,200? Those remaining 4 hits, if you did the 10 hits, the remaining 4 would pay $11,200. It's not bad. So now let's look at a 5 and a 9. So the 5 and 9, they're going to throw in $1 the first hit, and they're going to go to a green. Okay, so the first hit, they throw in $1. They go to a green. Second hit, stack it all up. Third hit, they're going to throw in $6. And they're going to take it up to 150. The fourth hit, 150 pays 210. Okay, we'll go ahead and collect the $10 and go up to 350. Okay, now 350 pays 490. They can throw in the $10 to collect 500 and take it all the way up if they want. Now, a lot of players at this point are only going to take it up to 750. The reason for that is because you have a fairly common payout from here, $1,050. 75 pays 105, so 750 pays $1,050. $1,050. There's this next hit. Now you'll notice that the player does not have enough to make it up to table max from here. So they're not going to. This is one where they keep it fairly simple, 1,500, and they collect some. Well, Now the next hit, 1,500 pays $2,100, 2,100. Now they're at table max. 2, 4, 6, 7 hits. 7 hits. They're at table max, which means the remaining 3 hits. Well, I actually did this one wrong. It was 3 hits, not 4 hits, making $2,800. My fault. It'd be $8,400 that they would make. 8,400 on those remaining hits. My fault. So now they're in a very, very similar situation. Here, 7 hits. Now after that, they're going to make $2,800 per hit for those remaining 3 hits. Again, $8,400. That is why people play the power press, because they're looking for one number, basically to roll 8 times. That's it. One number to roll 8 times. If it's an inside number, if it's a 5 or a 4 or a 10, all they need is one number to roll 6 times, and they're going to collect thousands off of a small initial investment. Okay. Thank you everybody for watching. Thanks for the coffees, everybody, by the way. And yeah, the next video we will show this on a $25 minimum bet table to say a $5,000, maybe a $10,000 max bet. Maybe I'll do $50 minimum bet and $10,000 max bet. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching, everybody. Catch you next time. Bye now. Thank you everybody for watching today's video, and as promised, a little bit more detail on things that we are working on. So again, we want to continue trying to expand the channel. We're really hoping to be able to add roulette as soon as possible, and then some video keno, video slots, stuff along those lines. Unfortunately, it ate up almost all of our cash, paying off all of our bills during the month of January while we were down. And now that the holidays have ended, YouTube's payouts have dropped significantly. So we're kind of treading water here as far as all that goes. Do have a lot of things we want to add, though. Not just those things, those additional games, and hopefully some carnival games and such like that. But the live streams. The biggest problem right now with the live streams is with 3 jobs combined between the 2 of us, 4 if I include the 20 to 30 hours a week I'm putting into the YouTube channel. It's very, very difficult for me to have a day and time that I can commit to doing the live stream every single week, because we also have our very young child to take care of. But I'm trying to figure that out. I'm thinking it's probably going to end up being on Monday nights or Tuesday afternoons, or possibly both. I intend to do at least one live stream exclusively for our patrons, and then another one on the YouTube channel. So possibly both days. We also have a few other things that we really want to attempt to move forward on. I'm just running into either time or skill set issues. I do want to eventually have a website going for us. I did used to program websites over a decade ago. A lot of things have changed, and I just don't have that time. And not a whole lot of knowledge on the current state of building websites, hosting what sites can host, and how to build up the e-commerce stuff. So if anybody has any skill sets along those lines and would like to answer some questions or just help us out, shoot us an email, sincitylivingLV@gmail.com. Also, I really hope to be able to start adding some exclusive stuff from Sin City Living, logoed shirts, hats. I'm looking to get custom dice made, even custom layouts made, although those would be pretty expensive. But I know zero about e-commerce and drop shipping and anything along those lines. So if you have any skill or knowledge in that area, please email me. I would love to ask you some questions and see if you can answer a few to help me figure out how to get that going. Same thing with designing our logos. I had some logos designed, very, very small logos, unfortunately, not big enough to blow up to put on T-shirts and stuff like that. And again, I know I know nothing about logo design, graphic design, any kind of websites that could do it. I literally know nothing. So if you have any skill or knowledge in that area also, please email me, and you're willing to answer some questions, please email me and let me know. I'll admit I don't even know where to start as far as asking some questions, but I'm sure I'll ask a few, and that'll trigger a few more, so on and so forth. So yeah, there's that, and of course we do hope to continue to improve our AV setup, but I am an AV moron, so also right there, if you have any skill sets or knowledge in that area, please email me, and are willing to answer some questions. Please email me and let me know. We would love to help. Otherwise, again, thank you everybody for watching, and we're very excited to continue bringing you our videos. Bye now.